Welcome to the Buffoons Sports Talk. I'm your host today, Troy Alexander. With me, Jay Kaufman, Alex Campbell, Phil Melange. Got the whole crew together.
Yeet. Let's get it rocking.
Cool.
Okay.
You're so lame today.
I was expecting something more from you, Alex. But
Awkward.
thanks again for joining us, everybody. We got an awesome show for you today. First thing we were going to get right into, NBA. Let's talk little MVP. How do we feel? Giannis, James Harden, LeBron James. What are our thoughts?
Okay.
Devin Booker.
Okay, no. He's kidding about Booker.
And Luka, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, Luka's missed.
Luka. He's missed too many games.
And we've talked about this before. Luka will win multiple. It's just not right now.
And then his
Multiple, yeah.
and his defense is just non-existent.
True. Very true. Not to get off track, but a lot of coaches have actually said that the Luka reminds them of Larry Bird. So, big shoes to fill. I don't know if he's...
Larry Bird played tough defense.
He did. And I don't think Luka's ever going to be that because he's kind of smaller and, you know...
Hey, man. Give him a chance.
Whatever. But how do we feel? Because I think that this MVP talk is always solely based around Giannis. Rightfully so, right? They're the best team in the league. They've only lost 8 games. And their net rating with him on the court is insane. They're just beating people down. And with him off, it's still positive by a boat. So has Giannis played enough minutes, which is a little over half of a game? Okay, I'm being a little dramatic. He plays about 29, 30 minutes a game, I think. Has he played enough minutes and averaged enough playing time to be your back-to-back MVP? Whoever wants to take this, I'm curious to see what you guys say.
I think that's why it's most impressive that he's putting up the stats that he has right now, averaging 29.7 a game. And rebounds, what is he averaging again? Like 13 or something like that?
Almost 14.
Almost 14 rebounds a game.
And
he's
6 assists.
Yeah, and he's barely playing. He's playing 30.8 minutes a game. So you put that into James Harden's minutes. James Harden's on the court 5 more minutes a game.
Okay, and I honestly don't think this is... I just wanted to mention James Harden because he's still having a good season, even though the past month he's been a little off. But that's only because of Russell Westbrook's improvement, I think. But I think this is a 2-man race. I think it's between Giannis and LeBron.
I don't even think it's a race.
I don't even think it is either.
Okay, not a race, but if there's...
Giannis, he's got the highest PER of all time, and I mean they're averaging wins by almost 12 points a game, which is one of the highest all time. And so the fact that they're accumulating that lead, the fact that he's got the highest PER, and like Alex said, putting up the stats that he's putting up in just 30 minutes a game, I think it does go to show you the impact that he has when he's on the floor, which I think unfortunately just makes him far and away the MVP candidate. Well, I don't think there's enough games for LeBron to catch him.
They took the 30 minutes that he's playing. They took against Wilt Chamberlain in 30 minutes, and his stats, Giannis's are better than Wilt's are.
Okay, but I mean, 50 years ago. But
but you're talking how dominant Wilt was for that time.
To me, okay, let's give Giannis the MVP, fine. But can we at least argue about it? Because LeBron's making that case, in my opinion. The Lakers have a plus 12. I believe it's a plus 11 or 12 something when LeBron is on the court, and when he's off, they're a negative 3. So to me, that's most valuable to your team because you affect your team positively when you're on the court, and when you're not on the court, your team's just not very good. So can we at least make an argument why some people would think LeBron would be an MVP?
I can see why somebody that's a huge LeBron fan like yourself can feel that way. Just the same way that I felt that way the year that they gave the MVP award to Adrian Peterson over Peyton Manning, his first year back on the Broncos. Almost any other year, that's going to Peyton Manning. And so the truth is, almost any other year, LeBron James is getting an MVP this year. Giannis is not just having an MVP season. He's having one of the greatest seasons any player has ever had in a single season. And so it's hard to... So, is LeBron having an MVP season? Yes. I think that there are MVPs that have gotten the award that have not had as good a seasons as LeBron is having and not having the same impact that he is.
He's almost averaging a triple-double.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
25 points, 8 rebounds, over 10 assists a game.
Leading the league in assists.
100%. And any other year, he's the MVP hands down. But Giannis is having one of the greatest statistical seasons of anybody of all time.
Okay, so I'll stick with my original statement and say Giannis is going to win it for sure. But to Troy's point, there is an argument here.
Okay. I mean,
if you look at the stats, there really is an argument.
now I'm not saying let's all agree that the East is far and away, miles away, better than it's been in the last 5 years, right? Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
I get that. But, I mean, LeBron is 35 years old, leading his team to the best record in the West, the 1 seed, by 5 games, only out of Milwaukee's race by 4 games. They're probably not, realistically, they're not going to catch them. I don't think the Bucks are going to give up too many more games unless they decide to rest a lot of players leading up to the playoffs. I just think it's a little more impressive that LeBron is being able to do this in the West at 35 years old, leading the league in assists, taking a back seat, honestly, to Anthony Davis all year.
And speaking of that, can I ask you a question? So
Sure.
who do you think top 3 candidates for Defensive Player of the Year? I know we're talking about MVP, but the reason that I say this is because I also think Giannis is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, right? He's a top 2 or 3 candidate. Anthony Davis might be as
I
well.
think Anthony Davis is going to be it.
But
He's
that's what I'm
number
saying.
one.
If you have the defensive player, like I don't even think LeBron has the highest PER on the Lakers. I think Anthony Davis does. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's
No,
true.
it's Rajon Rondo. What are you talking about?
Oh, neutral. But you know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing is Giannis's defense too right now is at an elite level, and that's what I'm saying. He's just having a year that, in any other year, Troy, I agree with you. LeBron runs away with the MVP.
I really actually think these last 26 plus games or whatever, we're gonna see, man, because LeBron's making a case. I swear to God, if you look at the stats, he's really making a case.
Yeah, he has a couple more of those 40-point games. Okay.
I don't think it's just that. He needs a couple 15-point or 15 rebound games.
Oh, you really want the triple double, huh?
Well,
Three
that
averages,
solidifies a
triple. Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If LeBron averages a triple-double, I definitely think it's like there's a race. But at this point, like, let's be honest. The Lakers are going to lock up the number 1 seed. And then you should rest LeBron at that point.
Yes,
So he's probably not going to play as many games.
I would agree.
Also, the MVP is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Half the time it's a popularity contest.
Well, that's the other thing. I think it also helps that I think it helps LeBron's case that Giannis has already won one. If Giannis hadn't won one, he's getting it hands down.
Because how often is there back-to-back MVPs? It doesn't happen very often.
It's not very often. Like, the last person
So
who
his,
knew it was...
like Jake's point,
was,
his chance
Steph.
is greater this year.
You know-
and he does win MVP.
Yeah, see, Giannis having a better season this year than he had last year. So that's what also makes it tough. But because he's won it, I also think that they might be more willing to give it to LeBron. Especially because LeBron needs that 5th MVP. Let's be honest.
I don't think he needs that. I think he
Oh, he
needs
sure
probably
does.
another championship or
Then
so.
you won't have as many as Michael or Bill Russell
All right,
or
well,
Kareem.
I don't know. Does anyone have any last thoughts on MVP talk before we move on?
No, I just piggyback and just say Giannis as well. I think he's just an animal. What was the stat you said before we even went on the podcast? He scored 30 points in 27 minutes.
Yeah, after James Harden's comments the other day about him, and he just
Ridiculous.
came out and absolutely.
Can I just acknowledge these two players that clearly they're not going to win MVP, but it's just sick to see.
Yeah, do it.
Trae Young averaging almost 30 points a game and 9 assists, and then Bradley Beal averaging 30 points a game.
Yeah, Beal definitely got snubbed this year as an All-Star.
Yeah.
And Trae Young.
Just a shout out for them because they're having great seasons. Even though their teams, or at least the Atlanta Hawks, aren't doing great, it's still a nice shout
I
out
wish
for
the
them.
Suns would land one of them.
I wish the Suns would have landed more than just one of them.
Are we done with this topic right now? Because I want to ask a quick question.
Go ahead, dude.
If Zion Williamson played the whole year, would he have been an all-star?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Skip the rookie game?
He gets it over Brandon Ingram?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's
Yikes.
averaged over 20 points in the last 9 games. Or he scored well over 20 points in the last 9 games.
Brandon Ingram's averaging 25 over the whole year.
I think,
He's 19 years old.
but a rookie.
Brandon Ingram's
though.
like 21.
Still got baby fat on his face.
Dude,
I think the last rookie to play in an All-Star game.
He's pushing around centers
Blake
like it's
Griffin.
nothing.
No, I understand.
No, but yeah, Ingram is having a great season though.
Yeah, and
Those two.
Us as the Buffoons, we like to talk about dynasties, right? Like, who are some of the greatest teams of all time? Since we're on this MVP Giannis talk, let's actually talk about the team who's historically a great team that doesn't get talked about enough, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. I actually recorded about this this past week, and I said I don't think the Bucks get talked about enough, and they're a historically great team. They have the highest net rating in NBA history, above the 2016 Golden State Warriors, the 90s Bulls, whatever year, 96 Bulls.
You said net rating?
Yes.
For anyone that's listening, can you explain what net rating is?
Yes, sorry about that. That is how much points you score against the other team each game. So they're outscoring all their opponents by 12.3 points per game. So they're bludgeoning teams every time they play them. And winning by 10 or more in the NBA is exceedingly difficult, and you're doing it by 12 and averaging that. That's higher than the Warriors, who are compared as the best team of all time in some people's eyes. So here's another thing I wanted to point out.
Warriors did it in the West?
They did do it in the West. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to point out?
Then they added Kevin Durant. But we won't talk about that. So they also have a teammate by the name of Chris Middleton, who's a multiple-time All-Star, who's had a very good playoff career. And he's one of 5 players in NBA history this year to have a 50, 40, 90 season and average at least 20 points in that season. So for a player that's having
he's got to finish the season first, Troy.
That's true. That's true. But as of right now, the pace is saying that he will finish the season this way. And, I mean, to have another player on your team historically having a season that Chris is having, and then your team to be just dominating other teams, do you guys think that this team just, one, is one of the best teams of all time, and secondly, why aren't they talked enough? Or why aren't they talked about enough?
Because they just have Giannis is a superstar, but I think everyone expects him to leave anyways. So they're not going to get invested in a team that they think the best player is going to leave anyways. And I don't know why they don't get talked about enough though, because Middleton's a monster.
He is. He's arguably the most underrated star in the league, in my opinion.
Well, not to mention he's been making clutch shots,
well,
not just averaging a 50, 40, 90 or whatever, but he's just making shots in late games and doing things that a superstar would do, and no one even talks about him as a superstar.
Yeah, I think he's an all-star, not a superstar. But
yeah.
But
with this season,
this season
he's having a superstar number.
That's
season.
my point. That's my point.
Yeah,
I'm
fair,
not saying he
fair.
is one. I'm saying he is putting up the stats to be called that.
Sure. But I also think another reason is because who were the favorites last year to win the East?
The Bucks.
And how far did they make it?
I recall conference finals.
Correct. And so they underperformed. Would you agree?
I agree.
So I think until we see them get it done, that's the way we think of them. No matter how good they do in the regular season, I think we're waiting to see them get it done in the conference finals and at least make the playoffs. But I'll be honest with you, with the type of regular season record that they're having, they should be favored to win it.
No doubt. And if they don't, it's kind of a failed season in my opinion. I think also it's because of the style of play. Because they have one of the best 3-point defenses in the league, but they have one of the best paint defenses in the league, and they have one of the worst 3-point shooting defenses in the league. So everyone says, well, this is a 3-point shooting league. I feel like in a lot of people's eyes, they see it as this is going to work in a regular season, but if you play a team 4 times, you're going to eventually come across a team that's going to knock down their threes. And if that's the case, what do? Tip your hat to them and say, oh, well, good game. It's not how it works in the playoffs. You lose 4 games, you're out.
Yeah, their 3-point defense scares me for sure.
I mean,
not against teams in the East, and not against the Lakers. So, I mean, now if they have to face the Clippers in the finals, they got a problem, in my opinion, because they've got some shooters. But honestly, if they have to face the Lakers, which I'll just really quick say, Troy, I know this is off topic and not to get to it, but I also think that if LeBron does win a championship this year against the Milwaukee Bucks, that it really helps his resume all time. It really helps his resume all time as far as, we were talking about earlier, he has beaten some really good historic teams, and if this was his 4th championship, I think that it would elevate him into that, in my opinion.
No.
I think the dogs agree with you, Jake.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think a win would elevate him to 3rd all time, in my opinion, behind Michael and Kareem.
I mean, in that case, he would have beaten 3 historic teams in NBA history.
4.
Well, the Thunder weren't a historic team.
To me, they were, honestly, because they destroyed the Mavericks, destroyed the Lakers, and destroyed the Spurs, which were the 3 teams that dominated the Western Conference for the previous 15 years, and they destroyed all 3 of them that year. So to me, they were.
But not like a team that
they had 3 MVPs.
Not at the time.
No, but players that have gone on to win an MVP, and they had a great defensive player in Serge.
I just think the Spurs and the Warriors were historic teams.
Perkins, Cephalosha, Derek Fisher.
But hopefully we will be having this conversation late June. Yeah, I'm hoping we have this conversation, and I'm not having to go through a Clippers or a Bucks championship. But what about this? What about this beef though between Harden and Giannis? Because both have had interesting comments. Giannis being like after the All-Star game, "Oh, I just wanted to. Our plan on offense was to go at anyone Harden was guarding," and then Harden's out here saying like, yeah, I wish I could be 7 feet tall and do whatever I want and dunk. Like, this goes back to the MVP voting where James didn't agree with Giannis getting MVP, and he questioned the voters. And ever since then, there's been beef. What do you guys think of the beef? You think it's like just shut up, babies, and just squash it, or like, do you actually like it?
Well, I kind of like it from Giannis, but Harden's just coming off as salty. All he's got to say, is just look at my accolades. I might not be an NBA champion, but I'm about to be a 3-time scoring champion. I'm arguably the best scorer the NBA's ever seen. And I kind of liked it, but I also think his statement was kind of stupid about being 7 feet tall and just driving to the basket. And like, that's all it takes. Like, that's just ridiculous. Yeah. There's plenty of people 7 feet that suck and last a year.
I would say just something, if I was James Harden, I would have just said something along the lines of, this is a lot of criticism coming from a guy who hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah.
You're in the same boat as me, and you haven't won anything either.
Yeah, it's true.
I actually love the beef because how often do we see something like this in the NBA nowadays? We don't. We always see guys shifting away from the drama. Like, as much as I love LeBron, I'll be the first to admit he always shies away from any type of quote-unquote rivalry that he may have, whether it's with a team or a player. He's always the first to be like, no, there's no rivalry. No, there's no this. No, we need to build good habits. That's what we're
losing into those rivalries.
Oh my God. I mean,
I think it's good for basketball.
So do I.
Love it.
So do I. I love it too.
Was he or was he not on the losing end of the rivalry with him and the...
Well, he had one with Paul George.
Well, what about...
He beat Paul George 3 times.
Okay, yeah, fair. What about the rivalry with the Warriors?
Don't get me started on Peyton Manning talks, Jay, because I'll bring that conversation up right now.
Well, this is a great time to say, if you haven't liked and subscribed to our podcast, hit that little button right there. And,
turn on that notification button every time a video is dropped.
You'll know. And we're going to be dropping things weekly. So back to the podcast to hear these two bitch and complain at each other.
Curious, Troy, since you just got on the topic of Peyton Manning, speaking of rivalries, who is he on the losing end of? As far as the rivalry goes,
we're going to continue with this topic.
3-2 against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Reason I'm talking about this is Jake likes to bust my balls all the time about LeBron, and I don't think there's a very good backup argument for Peyton Manning.
Which makes no sense because Jake was a LeBron fan. All of a sudden now he's a
just
Heat
trolling.
Fan. He's this. It's like, where did this come from?
Hey, you guys should go into Jake's closet, see how many team jerseys he has.
Well, don't. You'll never come out.
All right. Well, first off, you would see that there's a bunch of Colts jerseys more than anything. Reds, Suns, Pacers, D-backs.
Okay, how many we got so far? We have to start
And
using
Cardinals.
those. Well, I mean, sorry guys, I don't want to get off track, but Jake started it, so I wanted to finish it. But
I mean,
Ron
still lost.
Why do you have to be the last person to say anything?
He
always does. He never wants to lose an argument.
That's why he hates me, because I'll never let him. I won't even go to sleep. I'll keep texting, keep telling him, never.
But I mean, like, I feel like the only players in the league anymore that really like embrace rivalries are Joel Embiid and Giannis. Honestly,
that's why I like Embiid.
Yeah,
he's entertaining.
He is. He's not afraid to speak up.
He's an emotional player, but I like that.
It's getting kind of old though, to be honest with you, because he's always like, I need to just be this guy that just comes out and plays myself, and then fucking the next game he's just non-existent again. He's just inconsistent. He's just a way better version of Kyle Kuzma.
And this is what you say. Oh, whoa! But this is what you say to Embiid: be better just on the road, bro. Like, we don't need to hear you talk.
It's terrible.
Stop being 9-21. Stop losing to my Cavaliers on the road. Come on, bro.
That's embarrassing.
But since we briefly talked on James Harden, let's actually talk about his weird team in the Rockets. I want to be the first to give Russell Westbrook credit here. I have
What? Troy giving Russ credit?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
You guys
say
are
it
gonna
ain't
make me
so.
say it again.
You're busting my balls.
We're gonna crop this out, and it's literally gonna be posted everywhere. So say it one more time
His
for the
balls
fans.
are busted.
So my hands are in my face. My face is in my palms right now.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
I have to give Russell Westbrook credit, finally. After he's shown me he's really bad, how inefficient he is, how he can win award after award and just never lead a team anywhere, why Durant left. He's actually playing well. I think he's honestly playing the best basketball of his career right now, to be 100% honest. He's not taking dumb shots. He's more efficient. He's saying, oh, well, they're giving me a three-point shot, but I guess a driving lane to the basket's a lot easier than a three-point shot, so I'm going to do that. And teams have been...
He should be doing that.
He should be doing that because you should know, hey, I'm not a great shooter, so I should be doing what I'm good at. And you're able to do that because of how your team is constructed now. So it all kind of comes together.
Well, I'm glad he's finally figuring that out, because if they did that last year, they probably would have won. Because what'd they go from 3 in the game 7? Like 0 for 27 or something like that? Some crazy historic number of just throwing up threes and bricking them?
Well, I mean, they got bounced in the first round by the Trailblazers, OKC, and Russ. But, I mean, I'm just... We talked about this before the season started. I was, not just myself, but a lot of other people were saying, I think Russ is going to have a better season. He's going to be more effective in Houston because the floor is more spread for him now. And that hasn't been the case because of Clint Capella. The floor hasn't been as spread as Russell would like it to be, so therefore his lanes to the basket are way more clogged. You trade Capella, now you have 4 other guys around Russ that can shoot the ball. Of course the paint's going to be wide open. You don't have a big 7-foot shot blocker in the middle of the paint anymore. So I think what we all saw all thought before this started is coming true. It just took a trade here and there to make that happen. So, I mean, hats off to Russ, man. He's been having a better last month than James Harden's been having. And he goes at centers when he's one-on-one with them. He finishes. He's efficient.
If he stays efficient and he continues to play the way he's playing, does that hurt James Harden in the MVP candidate race? Since I'm kind of tying back with the old one.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, for sure. I mean, so there's even people that have been saying this is Russ's team right now, and it's hard to argue that because Russ he's been better than James.
Well, and I've heard he's a better leader with like his teammates and stuff. Like he'll be the one. And in fairness,
compared to James Harden.
In fairness, he inspired. Like I've always told you guys, I've liked Russ's game. Like not necessarily the shots he takes, but I like the fact that he plays hard every play, and he plays hard on defense. And I think that's respectable from a player standpoint.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right, and I mean Russ is constantly looked at as a bad guy because of like how vocal he is, how emotional he is, but I've never heard anything bad really about Russ as far as a leader. Like I've always heard he's been a really good leader. I mean, he did kind of push Durant out of town, I think, but Damn, how many times have I brought up Durant on this podcast? I am hating right now. I'm sorry, guys. Dude. I just resent that Warriors move. Guys. Sorry. But, like I said, Rockets 8-2 in their last 10. I think they've only lost one game since going completely small.
They've won 5 straight.
They've won 5 straight games. They've got a big game tonight against the Celtics. That'll be really fun. Looking forward to that. You know how we're always talking about, like, man, the Celtics are really small. Well, guess what? Celtics, you're playing the smallest team in the league tonight, so you guys are going to look like giants. And that's going to be an awesome game because you got switching all over the floor going on, and it's going to be really fun. That's why I look forward to it. But anyway, now that we've got my NBA fix in, let's move on to the NFL. The NFL draft just happened. I'm sorry, the combine. Excuse me.
How long do we have to talk about before we need to go back to the NFL before you start having withdrawals?
I'm gonna need to probably pause the podcast and go outside and take a walk.
Okay.
Talk to himself about.
Talk to myself.
Man, Bradley Beal, he should have been an all-star.
Watch a couple LeBron clips.
Yeah. Couple old school Cav dunks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I don't do that now.
No, I know. That's why we're saying it.
Oh, okay.
Compare the strength of schedule from the Clippers to the Lakers for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, my priority list comes into question when I think of the NBA, but
net ratings, PERs, got to,
efficiency
plus
rating.
minus.
Yeah.
It's not my fault I'm a stat whore. I mean, come on.
Well, you're more than just a stat whore.
Yeah.
Well, glad I can be that for you guys. Thanks, guys. Anyway, the NFL Combine just happened, and this was a topic that Jake really wanted to go into. Who's number one overall? Who is going to be number one overall? What do the Bengals do? Are the Bengals taking Tua, or are they taking Joe Burrow? What are we doing? I know Burrow didn't really participate in the Combine. He kind of was... He had his hands measured and everything, but he didn't throw or anything.
Yeah, neither did Kyler Murray last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, that's something that a lot of them don't do.
Yeah, it's becoming less and less important.
Okay, but what are the Bengals doing?
I think it'd be stupid to take Tua if you're the Bengals. I think the smart move is just to take Burrows. I understand that there's valid points on both sides, but if you're the Bengals and you don't take Burrows and someone else does, and he is successful, you might as well just sell your franchise.
Like Jake mentioned to me earlier, you are literally going to lose your job, and you will not ever find a job ever again if you're in that front office and you skip him.
I agree. One thing I'll give Burrows is...
Burrow.
He burrows.
I like Burrows.
I don't really
Pizza,
care.
it's really
Burrows, yeah, I'm going to call him Burrows.
He's going to burrow himself in the ground when he gets to Cincinnati.
Is the fact that he is a winner. Like, you could tell all he wants. When he gets on that field, all he wants to do is
He's very
win.
confident. I'll give him that.
Yeah. And so I just think if you don't...
But...
Is he annoyingly cocky?
It is.
Or is he just like cocky to
No,
like, damn, the dude's got swag?
No, to me, it's just overly cocky. I don't even think it's real. I think he's just on cloud 9.
Like we mentioned before, he was just on a solid fucking team. LSU is a solid fucking team from both the offense, the defense, the special teams, everything.
So let me ask you a question. When Tua went to Alabama, was that not a solid fucking team?
Not last year, no.
So, I mean, they don't have a bunch of players going to the NFL.
Oh, yeah, they do, of course.
They do, of course.
It's a solid fucking team, too.
That didn't win the national championship.
It's been there the last, 4 seasons. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's so old news.
But Tua didn't win them.
That's right, he didn't.
I mean, he technically did because of that one with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Where he played, so he did. But he didn't. The other seasons when they were expected to be the champions, I mean, Clemson beat them. So, I don't know. I think this is what's tough, right? If Tua didn't hurt his hip, he's going number 1 overall, no matter how good a season Burrow
So you
had.
think there's a difference between both of them?
100%.
Tua is a better football player by far.
Yes, he's a better quarterback.
Okay.
He can throw the ball
He's
better.
more NFL ready in your eyes.
I don't even know that NFL ready is the right word. It's just that He's got a higher ceiling. He can make more throws. I think he's a slightly less talented Russell Wilson.
Okay, so where's Tua going then in the draft? Who's taking Tua?
God, I hope the Raiders.
What pick do you guys have?
14. I'm like,
He's not going there. He'll be going.
And like, well, I could have dreamed before because they were talking about him dropping down to the second round. So clearly his medical stuff has gotten better or something. Because
Rams are trading up and getting Tua.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you're not. No one's taking any of your trades, none of your shit contracts.
We'll give you Brandon Cooks. We'll give you Todd Gurley. And
I think this is a really interesting question because I think that there's like 3 quarterbacks that are going in the top like 6 or 7 picks. I think Justin Herbert from Oregon goes too. I've even heard Jordan Love and Jake Fromm. I don't think Jake Fromm goes in the first round. I think he from Georgia. I think he goes in the second round. But Jordan Love is this kid that everyone's fallen in love with. Just over the last month, like his draft stock has elevated a ton. But I think, if you look at the first 5 picks, you've got the Bengals, Redskins, Lions, Giants, Dolphins, and then pick 6 is Chargers, and 7 is Panthers.
So in reality, you could see like most of these looking for
a quarterback, except for the Giants because they got their guy in Daniel Jones, they believe. The Lions have Stafford, but he's a little bit older. He just had his first injury last year. Not his first injury, but the first one that's been able to actually sideline him because he's pretty tough. But his broken bone in his back, they could probably get some good stuff for Stafford. I think there's some teams that are trying to win now that might be willing to trade for him. I know that I'd be happy if the Colts did.
I'd be happy.
There's actually a rumor that the Lions are going to trade their number 3 overall pick to the Raiders so the Raiders can get Tua.
That's fair.
Because right now,
the truth is the Redskins could snag him at 2.
Yeah, they really could.
Because they don't have. Dwayne Haskins he had a really bad game where he threw a couple picks, one being a pick 6, maybe even 2 of them being a pick 6. Went 7 touchdowns, 7 picks in the season.
Dude, it's a huge possibility they will. It's either him or Chase Young.
To me, Dwayne Haskins, his ceiling is Jameis Winston.
It's not a very great ceiling.
It really is not.
To me, that's like first day in an apartment and like just the ceiling comes down on you. And it's like, well, here's my ceiling. But
I didn't say Jameis Winston with LASIK surgery. He might be able to see now.
The memes that have come through in the last few weeks after that has been hilarious.
I'm getting ready for the second. Here we go again, NBA. I'm getting ready for the second crying Jordan meme coming around here any day now.
Yeah, people might respect it though because of the circumstances.
So if that rumor were to come true, Alex, and the Raiders got to a 3rd overall, if the Skins don't take him, would you be satisfied with that, or do you want them to take someone else?
I'd be stoked, but I'm also not mad if we wait till the 12th pick like we have and we get Jerry Jeudy from Alabama.
I don't even think Jerry Judy's fallen that low.
A lot of mock drafts are saying that he's going. That they're putting him at 12.
I think he's going. No, I think he's going before 12.
I know you say that, but I'm just saying a lot of mock drafts are saying that they're not because I think, like you said, a lot of quarterbacks are going early.
I know, but the Cardinals at 8, got a bad feeling they're not either him or Lamb. They're not gonna let Judy or Lamb pass them. So one of them's getting taken. CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy.
Well,
they've got this mock draft has the Cardinals taking an offensive tackle from Alabama.
How many Alabama guys do we have in the first round this year?
They always just have offensive tackles
so many
and
players,
guards, and
it's just like they have to have the record, right, for like most picks like that have been in the first round at this point. Like,
over the last 10 years, no doubt.
God damn, dude.
But they've got. I see a lot of mock drafts that have the Redskins taking Chase Young, the defensive end. A lot of things. He's definitely going in the top 2 or 3. Chase Young. He's for sure going in the top 2 or 3. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the Redskins go with Tua at 2, Lions are taking Chase Young at 3, and then it throws everything off a little bit, But I think, there's some really, really good players coming out, but I think...
So, do you think the Patriots used their first pick on a quarterback?
No.
Because you think Tom Brady's staying?
No. I think they'll just get a different quarterback. There's rumors of like Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater.
Andy Dalton makes me nervous. I don't want them to get Andy Dalton.
Who?
I love it. I would actually root for the Patriots to win with the Red Rocket just to show that Red Rocket can do what Tom did.
But
there's that one season where they actually played very well with Andy Dalton.
The Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, in fairness, he had, like, a ton of weapons to throw to.
No, I'm just saying he has the capability of being successful. And now he's put into the New England's offensive scheme. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting.
I mean, what other... sorry, I'm going to backtrack to the Bengals. What other weapons do they have, like, on offense? What do they really have there?
Who? The
Bengals.
The Bengals?
The Bengals.
They have Mixon. They have A.J. Green.
They
have John Ross, who's a speedy, really fast wide receiver. One of the fastest in the league.
Tyler Eifert, but he's injury prone.
Eifert's always prone to...
But is A.J. Green going to even be there?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I don't see what's the point of staying.
So you're probably going to draft a quarterback, and you're probably going to give him, like, Mixon, and, yeah, Eifert's kind of cool, I guess. But, like, not the exact environment you want to put a young rookie quarterback in. I mean, am I right or am I not right? What do you guys think about that?
To be completely honest, I don't even think Burrow wants to go to Cincinnati. I think there's been comments that came out that he doesn't look interested in wanting to join the Bengals.
Well, I mean, sure, but I mean, like, look, man, like, where are you gonna go? Like, where else would you rather be? The Raiders? What have they done? Would you rather be in the? I'm sorry, you're not trying to hurt you.
Well, honestly,
I'm not saying it'd be any different with the Cardinals. I'm being honest.
No, to be honest, that's a stupid statement in my opinion. You're going to a brand new stadium
in
Las Vegas. You've got one of the best offensive lines in the league. You've got Josh Jacobs and one of the most dynamic running backs in the league.
And Phillip Rivers went to Antonio Gates and LT. And
you've got like $70 million to play with this offseason. I'm just saying.
I'm just like, why do you make it a point of emphasis to like tell Alex that I'm not trying to hurt you when you say a rude comment, but with me, you don't ever say,
this isn't a time for therapy.
But he's always like, LeBron this, LeBron that. You know what I mean? Like,
Troy,
fuck, Jake.
I'm really sorry. Oh, wow. Fuck it then. I'm not sorry.
No. I meant like, fuck, Jake. Like, what the hell?
Well,
man?
I'm just saying, and to be honest with you, the Oakland Raiders can go 3-13. They'll still sell as many jerseys as teams that are in the wild card race. I promise you that. They always sell merchandise. They always are going to be there. They've been a household name. And why wouldn't you want to go play in Las Vegas in a brand new $2 billion stadium that looks like the Death Star?
It looks so sick.
I mean, because it's the Raiders and it's the owner that's got the least money in all of football.
Okay, you're gonna say you're gonna say that going right now, if you could be drafted by the Raiders or the Bengals, that it's the same.
No, I'm just saying that you got the Bengals, the Raiders, the Redskins, the Lions.
Why do you gotta say
all of them are crappy? Why do you gotta say why you gotta from the Bengals? It's like, hey, your other options are just as fucking bad.
Why you gotta go after right after my team when the next team's the Redskins, the next team's the Dolphins.
You know what?
The next is the Chargers.
Because I was trying to take a shot.
5 is Dolphins.
And the 5. Oh, they flipped.
Yeah.
Because I was taking
and
a
you
shot.
got the
you
Lions.
were talking about them trading up, so you know what I mean. Just you know what? They're all bad options. I'm just saying that. Like they're all like that's what I'm saying. Like that's my point. Is what makes any one of them any worse than the other?
No, I think the Raiders are a way better team than the Bengals, the Dolphins.
Agree. Oh yeah.
Alex thinks that Mark Davis is going to have it lit down in Las Vegas.
I mean,
what do you mean? I think he's going
the Bengals have hit the playoffs more times in the last 10 to 20 years. No matter what window you want to look at, the Bengals have made the playoffs more times in the last 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years than the Raiders. So I disagree with that statement.
Well, if you go 20 years back, at least we won a game in the playoffs.
That's highly fair. The Bengals have always tried.
I'm just saying. I get your point, but personally, if I'm a player and I'm not even a fan of the Raiders, I'm like, shit. As a quarterback, I wouldn't mind going and playing in a brand new stadium behind that offensive line with that running back. Like, sure, we need some help in some pass game, but I mean, if you send me to the Bengals, you're like, well, AJ Green's leaving too. Like, I ain't got shit. I go, I got Joe Mixon. Cool.
Yeah, let's be honest. Sports is like lifestyle's important. Like,
yeah, and you're in Vegas, and you can how hard it's so easy to market yourself in Vegas.
What did Kyler Murray think? Like, he's literally going to a place where the last rookie quarterback literally was a dumpster fire. They ended up with the first pick overall again. He could have been like, I want to hold out.
No, I mean,
you want to turn. No, if you're a first overall pick, in my opinion, you want to turn the franchise around. Damn it, that's how you. And that's why I think certain players that are the first overall pick, that needs to be talked about with their legacy because, in my opinion, I'm sorry, but, players like Tom Brady and Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they walked into good situations, whereas you have first overall picks that oftentimes are in really bad situations for 3 to 5 years as they rebuild. So, I mean...
Yeah. No, I completely understand. It's going to be an interesting football year, I think. I'm excited to see a lot of these young guys playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm ready to see Jameis Winston have another
really spectacular year. Maybe we'll see if he can go 40-40.
Yeah, whoops. All right, maybe we can just devote a podcast to just talking smack about Jameis Winston. I would really like that podcast.
We could do that.
Well, I'm just really hoping for the sake of Troy.
We could crack open some crab legs and just eat some crab legs. And
that'd be down.
Talk shit on Winston.
But the only way it gets better than that is if in the 2020-2021 season, Andy Reid punches a cameraman.
I would love that. He was just... you can't blame the guy. He was having a ball after he won a Super Bowl, rightfully so. I was still hoping for something, but nothing ever happened. Maybe one day.
Yeah, it'll happen one day.
Well, anyway, what do you say we put on the gloves and talk about that fight that happened last weekend?
Oh, you want to break that down really quick?
Let's break that down. Let's talk about the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight.
Well, how long do you want to spend on it? Because I can break this down really quick.
Break away.
He got his ass beat. I mean, if you really want to break it down, so
we broke it down. You're good.
So it's really I'll break it down really quick. It's really astonishing what Tyson Fury is doing, and if they don't make a movie on this dude's life, it's going to be insane. Because Troy, I don't know how much you know about him. Phil, I don't know how much you know about him.
I know a lot about him.
He was the heavyweight champion, beat Klitschko,
what about me? Want to talk about how I know?
I know you know.
Well, I know you could say something.
Well, no, you're a piece of shit. So, he ended up retiring at 27 years old and got up to 405 pounds and was about to kill himself. He was in a severe depression.
Addicted to drugs.
Yep, alcoholic, severe drug addict, and actually, what's really interesting is Deontay Wilder called him out during that time and said, "Hey man, get your shit together." And Tyson Fury posted a video back in a sweatsuit, jogging outside, and he could barely breathe. And he's like, "I'm coming for you, mate." And a year from that date, maybe a little longer, he fought 2 guys before he fought Deontay Wilder.
Wow.
And he was 252 pounds or something like that, or 240 something actually, I think. When he just fought him this time, he was 272 pounds, and he looked better physically than he did at his first fight because he hadn't been back in the ring in so long, and he just is a better boxer. When he in the first fight, he got knocked down in the 12th round. It looked like he was dead, and they basically compare it to the Undertaker rising when he would rise because he just rose up. And
it was so fun to watch live.
He got back up and started chasing down Deontay Wilder, which no one's ever done before. And he ended up winning that round. But he didn't win the round on the score sheets because he got knocked down. But he technically, we know he won that round.
He won that round, and he learned something.
He learned that Deontay Wilder does not fight well on it, stepping backwards. He's always got to be the guy walking forwards and throwing the heavy hands.
And having space with his feet, because that's how you load up those really heavy fucking right hands. Boom!
And Tyson Fury is not
a... directing that at me.
Yeah, he was. But Tyson Fury is not a knockout artist. Deontay Wilder is, percentage-wise, has knocks more people out than anyone in heavyweight history. More than anyone. And Tyson Fury came in and said... I put on 30 pounds. I'm coming in there and I'm going to knock him out. and he did some serious damage to him. So he didn't break his eardrum. It was only a 2-centimeter gash inside his ear.
Laceration.
Is six stitches or 7 stitches, but there's blood pouring in his ear.
Ton, though. 7 stitches inside your ear.
Yeah, and there's blood going in your ear, so it's kind of like he got hit so hard in the ear it messed up his equilibrium a little bit. He looked kind of drunk out there.
His feet weren't clearly under him. Like he didn't have the strength.
Stopped the fight. It wasn't even.
It wasn't even his main coach that stopped it either. It was his secondary guy. And when they got back into the locker room, he said, "Who threw the towel in?" And the dude said, "I did." And he goes, "You're fired. Get the fuck out of my locker room." Oh. Which I thought was a really Bush move, because I understand that these guys, they live by the sword, they die by the sword. They're willing to die in there. They really are. But that's what the trainer's job is to say, alive. Hey, this guy, okay. The thing is, Tyson Fury is 6'9", 273 pounds.
It's a big boy.
And he changed his whole camp after his last fight. His whole camp before was based off of head movement, boxing, jabs, staying moving, your footwork. He went, I forgot what the camp is called, but they're known for like sitting on punches, heavy jabs, not like a jab just to kind of like see your distance. I'm talking like a jab that could knock you on your ass, and coming back with a heavy overhand right. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and it was damn impressive. And I don't give a shit about this dude's costume excuse about being 40 pounds. Guess what? You shouldn't have worn it then. In such an important fight, you shouldn't have worn a 45-pound outfit.
Hey, it just gives us a reason to watch him lose another one. I mean, look, we can all agree from that first fight. If you watched it, yeah, he got knocked down twice, but Fury did. But he won the round. Like he won 10-2 as far as the rounds.
It was 10-2.
10-2.
It wasn't even close.
So you could have easily argued, like if you actually watched it, he won that fight. It was a draw, but he won that fight.
Which I'm not even mad about the draw technically, because
he got knocked down. Right? No one was upset.
He almost died in the 12th. That's why. Yeah. That's the only reason why. It wasn't even just a knockdown. That was like, I really thought he was like, it was completely over.
And no one wanted to take a belt from someone from like that. And also we were like, oh, we get to watch another one then. Cool. Like, so everyone's excited.
Yeah, exactly.
So no one cared. But I think now, this time around, he just proved it again. I guess this somewhat gives us a storyline for a third one, right? He can fight again in 6 months. I mean, what do you think? You think he does that? I think he does. I think he's going to.
I think he's dumb enough to accept the rematch. And I think Tyson Fury goes out there and just beats his ass again.
And like everyone else has been saying, right? I mean, I'm not the first to come up with this, but I think he should fight Anthony Joshua first, right?
Who, Tyson Fury?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he should. I'm sorry. I think Deontay Wilder should let Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua first, so that there's a chance that Anthony Joshua beats him. I don't think it happens, but a chance that he beats him and then has a chance to fight him for the belt and could potentially beat him, because I don't think he's beating Fury.
Well, it's going to be really hard, because if he doesn't accept the rematch, he is going to basically be telling everyone, I can't beat Tyson Fury right now. That's literally what it's saying, because if he thinks he can beat him, he'll take the rematch again.
So I guess, yeah.
But I think this could seriously ruin his career.
I'm down to watch another one.
I think it's career suicide, because if he goes out there and gets knocked out like that again, not even just knocked out, completely outclassed, completely outsmarted, completely outpunched, completely everything, outcoached, everything that Tyson Fury did that night, he outdid Deontay Wilder. And I don't see it going any different. Why would it go any different? Deontay Wilder, he looked terrible in his Luis Ortiz fight until he hit him in the head and like sent him to the moon.
You're not going to learn enough technique in 6 months to be able to...
Send him to the moon.
Well, but you're not going to be able to learn enough technique in 6 months to come and beat Fury. I mean, you're talking probably at least 18 months of training to be able to take on... Probably more like 2 to 3 years, to be honest, of what it's truly going to take. To be able, because he needs to, like you. I mean, I remember you texting me about it, Alex. He needs to get better with his footwork, his bobbing, his weaving. His head move, everything. He needs to get. He needs to become a better technical boxer.
Well, I think Eddie Hearn. I think it was Eddie Hearn. He said it best. Deontay Wilder is not a good fighter. He's not a good fighter, but he has an eraser that literally he could have the shittiest 5 rounds straight and one punch. And it's over. The dude cannot get up off the canvas. He hits harder than anyone we've ever seen. I'd be interested to see if he hits harder than Francis Ngannou, but that's a different story.
That would be fun.
But Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight boxer in the world today.
Yeah.
Boxing. And what are they doing in there? Boxing. I think if they fought 100 times, I think Tyson Fury wins 98, 99 of the times.
Okay.
I do think that eraser could, if they fought 100 times, land. But I don't think Deontay Wilder has it in him. I don't think he started too late as well, which is still so impressive because he started in like his 20s, which is unheard of, or maybe not 20s, but he was really late. Compared to some guys that are boxing when they're 2 years old. I mean, so I think he shouldn't take the rematch clause, even though for pride it'd be really hard not to.
The fans want to see a third match, though.
Do they though? Because I don't.
Money wise, put it in the bank.
Well, I'll pay. I'll watch it.
Hell, even if I'm Wilder, I'll be like, hey, you know what? I'll cash in again.
But do you know how much
my
more?
Career suicide or not? Like I'll be living large.
I feel like he could build it up. He could go knock out a couple other dudes. See what happens with Tyson and Anthony Joshua.
When do they have to accept the third one?
He had 30 days from the time it ended.
Okay, and he still hasn't done anything yet.
No, he haven't said anything yet.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then once he agrees to it, let's say if he does agree to it, how far can he push it? Because can he get a few fights in prior before?
I think it's 6 months.
So he can't get another fight in prior.
No.
Try to build his confidence back or anything. He can't do that.
No,
he wouldn't want to. He's got to recover. I mean, the thing is, can he recover in 6 months from that? But like you just said, he didn't have a ruptured eardrum, and he didn't have a broken jaw.
No broken jaw either. Yeah, so I mean, he technically will be ready. He could probably fight next week if he really wanted to, but against like another opponent. But
I see what you mean now.
But no, he just was.
I thought he had the ability to push the fight out for as far as he wants, but if he can't, then
no, you got to get back in that horse. You can't hold up Tyson Fury. And I just think.
But I know we've talked about that before with like even that UFC where they fight a couple other people to kind of get back at it, and then they have their rematch. So I guess boxing's a little different, or is it just this contract?
No, every contract can be different. They write it up how they want. But if I'm Deontay Wilder, I'll be honest. I literally come out and go, look, I started boxing when I was 20 years old, whatever it is. I've been in this game for 6 years, whatever it is. I'm basically still a beginner, even though I have 44 knockouts or whatever it is. Tyson Fury is a better boxer than me. That doesn't mean I think I can't beat him. But I do think I need to do a few other things, change some things up, go work on some things. And I'm gonna end this now and let Tyson go fight Anthony Joshua. Then he can go fight some, not even scrubs, like actually pick some opponents that are a threat and go out there and box with them. Don't just go out there and try to land one.
For your confidence, you beat a bunch of schnucks, like
Tyson Fury's just gonna tear you apart again.
Yeah.
You got to go fight some real dudes, and I think he fights the loser of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and then if he wins that, think about how big of a fight that would be. The comeback, Deontay Wilder just beat Tyson or I just blanked, but
I noticed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would be a bigger build-up to go out there and do that.
Yeah, if you beat Joshua.
But it's just going to be hard for someone like Deontay Wilder to put his pride aside and say, no, I'm not going to take the rematch. He's just got too much pride. But how much pride are you going to have when you go out there and get your fucking ass beat in front of everyone again?
Point taken.
I mean,
I watched the highlights. It was bad.
I mean,
no, dude, that's like
I'll get my ass beat for the money they're making.
Yeah, but that's a different thing, dude. That's a pride, and it's gonna hurt him. It's gonna hurt his career. If he loses again, it's gonna really hurt his career against Tyson Fury.
Do we have any final thoughts on this before we wrap this up?
Like and subscribe, bitches.
Yep.
And get ready for baseball. We got spring training here in Arizona. Love it. We're going to games. We're getting excited for baseball.
I think, to Jake's point, it's absolutely beautiful weather at the moment. It's something really fun to do. There's things to do outside of just spring training. So, I mean...
Got tickets for 2 more games.
Okay. Well,
right, last word.
Like everyone said here, like, subscribe, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Hit that like button. Listen, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Everybody.
Pornhub.
I mean, if it gets us downloads, I'm down. I bet you it's probably a more visited site than iTunes or Spotify.
What?
Take us out.